Hi, you guys. This is the test retake video for 8.G.7b. So if this is a section that you needed more practice with, I want you to take out another piece of paper. And as I go through this problem, I want you to be able to identify the mistake that you made on your test. That is part of what you need to do in order for me to allow you to do a retake. Okay, so here we go. First question says, find the length of the side labeled X. Okay, so find the length of the side labeled X. Then find the perimeter. Okay, so we've got two things that we need to do. Then find the perimeter of the whole figure, which is the entire triangle. So in order to find X, we first need to figure out two of the legs that we can use. So we can see that here is X right here. It's the hypotenuse of a right triangle. It's the hypotenuse of this right triangle, but we only know one of the legs. Okay, we know this leg right here is 10. So in order to be able to find that leg, we're going to have to use the triangle that is adjacent to that triangle, this triangle right here, PRQ, because we have enough information in this triangle right here. We have a hypotenuse and we have a leg. That's going to help us find this missing leg right here. And then once we know this missing leg, we can figure out what our X is. Okay, so this is my right angle. This is the hypotenuse. So in order to find B, I'm going to plug 5 in for A. I'm going to leave a B, and I'm going to plug 13 in for the C in the Pythagorean theorem. Now I'm going to solve for the B. So this is 25. This right here is 169. So B squared plus 25 is 169. So I want to get this B by itself. So in order to get rid of the 25 on this left side, I'm going to minus 25. I'm going to minus 25. So I have B squared equals 144. And then the inverse operation for squaring is square rooting. So if we want that to just be a B, we square root 144 and we get 12. Okay, so now we know that this leg is 12. And if we're going to figure out what the hypotenuse of this yellow triangle is, we're going to use the Pythagorean theorem. We are going to use this leg, which is 12, which is A, this leg, which is 10, which is B, and then our X is C. So we're going to say 12 squared plus 10 squared equals X squared. This becomes 244 equals X squared. And then to get rid of a squared, we square root. And when I do the square root of 244, I get 2 root 61. And remember I told you that you could leave this as a simplified radical, or you could round to the tenths. So either of those answers were okay. Now on this next part, I had lots of students make mistakes on this next part. So we know that the X, okay, we know that that's not an X anymore. We knew that that side length is 2 root 61. So if we're finding the perimeter, that means we want to know the distance around the outside of this shape. So we have to add the 2 root 61 with the 10, with the 5, with the 13. So we end up getting 2 root 61, and then we have plus 28. Okay. And for those of you who rounded that to the tenths place, it ends up being 43.6. Okay, next question. On this next one, you are finding the diagonal going from corner A to corner G. That's this diagonal right here. Okay, so in order to find this diagonal, you first need to draw in the triangle that you're going to use. This diagonal would have this leg right here, okay, this leg, and then the other leg would actually be the diagonal for the base, and our base is a rectangle. So in order to find diagonal AG, we're going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem a couple of times. We're going to have to use this leg, which is 4, and this leg, which is 10, to find this diagonal right here, okay? So we really have this green triangle. We know that this leg is 4. We know that this leg is 10. We're going to use that information to help us find side C. So we're going to say 4 squared plus 10 squared equals C squared. So this becomes 116 equals C squared. And when you do the square root of 116, you get 2 root 29, which some students left it as 2 root 29. And then rounded to the tenths, that is 10.8. Okay, most students used 10.8 for this leg, so I'm going to go ahead and do that too. So now we have enough information to find the diagonal for this pink right triangle. We know this leg is 10.8, we know this leg is 6, and we don't know side C. So we're going to say 10.8 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. So 10.8 squared plus 6 squared is 152.64, which is 12.4, rounded to the hundredths, okay? Or rounded to the tenths. So we would say C is approximately 12.4. Okay, last one, find the slant height of the cone below. So you need to know that on a cone, the slant height is the diagonal. Okay, this is the slant height. And in order to find this slant height, we are going to use this height, which is a leg, and this radius. Okay, the radius of this base is 10, and we're going to use those to help us find that diagonal. So 10 squared plus 14 squared equals C squared. This ends up being 296 equals C squared. And then when you do the square root of 296, you get approximately 7.2. Okay, last one. Use the information in the given triangle to find TR. Okay, so this is TR. This is the one we want to find. So in order to find this one, we're going to have to use the Pythagorean theorem multiple times. We're going to start with a triangle that we know enough information about. So this hypotenuse is 25. This leg is 20. We don't know this leg. Okay, so we're going to first find the leg of the yellow triangle by using the Pythagorean theorem. We'll call this leg A. So we're going to say A squared plus 20 squared equals 25 squared. So this ends up being 400. And then 25 squared ends up being 625. So A squared plus 400 equals 625. We minus 400 from both sides. So A squared equals 225. And then we square root 225 and we get 15. So A is 15. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and plug that in. For the A, we now know that this is 15. So that brings us to our next triangle that we're going to use, which is this triangle right here, triangle PST. Okay, this time we have the hypotenuse. So we're going to find leg A by doing A squared plus 15 squared equals 17 squared. So when we do that, we'll have 17 squared, which is 289. We have 15 squared, which is 225, and we have A squared. So then to get the A by itself, we minus 225 from both sides. So A squared equals 64, and then we square root 64, and we get 8. Okay, so this side right here is 8. Now we can finally find TR, okay? So we're going to use 8 as a leg, 29 as the hypotenuse, side TR is our other leg. Okay, So let's go ahead and plug this information into Pythagorean theorem. We are going to say that 8 squared plus b squared is equal to 29 squared. So when you do 29 squared, you get 841. This is 64. We minus 64 from both sides. So 841 minus 64 is 777. Our step is to square root 777, and we end up with 27.9. Okay, this also said round your answer to the nearest whole number, which would be 28. Okay.